So let me introduce our Dean, Alberto Frigerio.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, and also my friends and my
yes.
Mike Aki from United States of America, and Stephanie Lee from Malaysia.
A pleasure to meet you, Alberto.
Welcome. Nice to meet you. Okay, and Stephanie. I'm sorry I have some issue with my internet today. It's pretty unstable, and unfortunately, I sometimes I hear voices, sometimes I don't hear at all. But I'm very glad that you're here, and for me it's a pleasure to see that our school is extending our horizons and meeting foreign people and giving students the opportunity to listen from different experiences from people who travel and work in diverse environments. So me and Daniel, we share this as one of the key pillars for the development of our school. And so I'm extremely glad to see that, to see so different events organized with so many people from around the world.
Yes, and I hope that we'll continue. Yes, we'll continue this cooperation because we have quite many ideas. Yes, of this international cooperation with many different speakers from different countries, and students enjoy knowing about different regions, well, from natives.
This year we were lucky enough to have meeting with representative of Armenia, Azerbaijan, United States, in Malaysia, in Colombia. So we are really happy about the feedbacks we received from our students, and well as the amazing talks that we were able to attend and to listen. So we are really enthusiastic about this new approach that we are trying to introduce in our school, and it seems that also students highly appreciate it. So thank you again to our guests. I mean, for us it's very important this kind of meetings, and we really believe about their educational power, or the way in which knowledge and interest toward the subject of international relations, geopolitics, regional studies.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is Stephanie Lee, and I am born in Malaysia. I am a Malaysian, but I live in an island called Penang. And I would like to take you on a little tour of my island. I have, just to let you know, I have a BA in English from Gustavus Adolphus College in the US, and I have the MA in Marcom from distance learning through University of Leicester. So it's a pleasure to meet everybody. I've never been to Almaty, and hopefully, you know, I would be able to make a trip sometime because it looks like a really beautiful country. And thank you also for Mr. Danial for inviting me, and also to Mr. Micah Aki for actually linking us together. So I would like to talk about Penang, Malaysia, which is also known as the Pearl of the Orient. If I could just tell you a little bit about Malaysia, I would say that it is just a little north of Singapore. So Singapore is actually at the equator. So you're talking about very hot weather, and right now we're having a heat wave. And what I'm wearing here is actually my national, sort of my ethnic costume. I am a Peranakan, which means that I am a Chinese, but locally born, which means that I may have ancestors who are local. So that's the beauty of this place. And later on, I will show you some pictures of our culture. But meanwhile, can we move on to the first slide, please, Mr. Daniel?
Yes, I put.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pearl of the Orient.
Pearl of the Orient, because it's a beautiful place, or at least it used to be. And I hope it gets back its luster very soon. So it's only about 2 hours away, right from 2 hours ahead actually of Almaty. So it's not very far, and we have some people here from your country. Yeah. So yeah, that's Mr. Daniel. Can we move on to the first slide, please? Thank you.
Yes, we are on the first slide.
Oh, okay. Okay. Hang on a minute. Wait. Hang on. First slide is we're talking about Penang. Okay, where is Penang? Penang is it's actually an old British. It's an old British trade post. So we first started off in 1786. Okay, it's actually a part of another state called Kedah. And what the British did was they wanted the strategic island for trading. So what they did was they had a treaty with the Sultan of Kedah, and they took this mosquito-infested island and they turned it into a seaport. And over the years, they thrived, and they invited people from other parts of Malaysia to come over. And as you can see, we have, hang on a minute, we have Mr. Daniel. Can we move on to another next slide, please?
Yes.
Okay, here. 1786. The person that was in charge of this island was Captain Francis Light. And he named it the Prince of Wales Island. And this was under the trading company, East India Company. I don't know how many of you have heard of East India Company, but it is a company that is also very important in India and all this British outposts. So it's actually part of the British Empire. And I was saying that the sun would never set on the British Empire. So as you can see, over here is Georgetown. This is where I'm located, where I'm talking to you right now. And this is the island of Penang. It's shaped like a turtle. And I am talking to you from right here, which is Hompton Hotel. It's lunchtime over here. So it's quite quiet. And I live somewhere here in Batu Ferringhi. So, and the airport is here. It's about 40 minutes away. So, and this is Captain Francis Light. And as you can see, the original flag of Penang looked like this. The first flag, there's a little coat of arms for Penang, and also the British flag because it's under the British. Okay, next slide, please, Mr. Daniel. Okay, this over here we have the Penang state flag, and this tree is actually the areca tree, which is called Penang tree, and that's where we get our name Penang from. It's the areca tree, and these are the colors, blue and yellow, and this is over here on the right is the flag of Malaysia. It has the stripes. It looks very similar to the American flag, but the difference is we have the crescent moon and the stars. Crescent moon actually represents the official religion over here, which is Islam. Yeah. All right. Next slide, please, Daniel. Okay, early economy and the strait settlement of Penang. It was famous for spice trading. So all the people here, despite where you come from, you actually is subject of Great Britain. And my family, including my parents, until 1957, when we had our independence, we were actually British subjects. We are not Malaysians. Yeah. So this is the early photo, the early painting of Penang, and this is how the seaport looked like. You have those little ships that bring in the the goods, and then they will actually sail up the canal, and they will end up in the godowns. Yeah, so that was our main feature as a trade post for the British, and the closest port that we had was Singapore and also India. All right, next slide, please. Okay, Penang is also known as the Spice Island. So I'm sure you've all tried nutmeg before, right? You use it in your spices, in your stew and soups and stuff. So actually, the original nutmeg came from Penang. So we have a lot of nutmeg trees here, and we still do, on the other side of the island. And it was done. This planting was done by British. So we have clove as well and black pepper. So those are the main spices. And there's an interesting fact about Penang. Most of the people do not know this. It's like Christopher Columbus was trying to sail to look for spices in the east, but he ended up finding America. Okay, that's an interesting point, right? Next, please, Mr. Daniel. Okay, the people of Penang. Most of the people in Penang are from other places, and I talked to Mr. Aki this morning, and I told them that most of them may have come from Malacca and Singapore because we have almost similar cultures, and some of them may have also come from Medan, Indonesia, which is only about an hour away by flight, and by ship was probably just a few days away. So most of the people in Penang are British. And we have Eurasians, we have the Chinese, Malay, Indians, Thai, Burmese, Jews, Armenians, and others. For the back in those days, the British would not actually, mix with the other, communities, but there was a special community called the Eurasians. Eurasians are actually a result of an intermarriage between the British or the Dutch or the Portuguese with some local women. And most of the local women are actually from of Malay descent. And the Indians were actually brought in by the British as well from India. And they also invited people from Thailand and Burma. If you were from Thailand or Burma, you would actually take an elephant ride up from Thailand, down from Thailand or Burma, and you would take a boat to get to Penang. And of course, we had Jews. The Jews were actually here as traders in the Middle East, from the Middle East, and we had Armenians as well. So it was a very cosmopolitan port even back then. All right, next slide, please. Thanks. Okay, places of interest. Okay, over here we have the Penang National Park. This is how it looks like on a sunny day. And we also have the Botanical Gardens. We have the Tropical Spice Garden over here with Karina from Russia, and the Habitat Penang Hill and Penang Hill itself. So these are actually, I need to explain to you that Penang is half of Penang's economy is tourism, and the other half is through manufacturing. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, places of interest for culture vultures. We have the Penang Peranakan Mansion. Peranakan is actually a community where I come from. So it's actually a community where we celebrate, the material culture and also the culture, of food and also of dance and of basically beauty. I mean, we are surrounded by beautiful things. And over here, this is the Ku Kongsi. The Ku Kongsi is one of the prominent clan houses that we have over here, and this is one of the Chinese clans that helped to build Georgetown. Okay. Next over here, we have a friend of mine, Tiffany, and me, with some Teochew puppets, and this is at the Opera House. So it's actually a lot of transplanted culture from China. In fact, if people from China actually come to Penang to look for Chinese culture because they do not have the culture over there anymore, because of the revolution. So there's no culture over there. So they actually come over here and talk. They actually appreciate the culture in Penang, like it is traditional Chinese culture. And we also have the eclectic Hek Lok Si Temple, which is a beautiful place. Should you ever wish to visit Penang one day, you can look me up. Right. Next slide, please, Daniel. Okay. Okay, the most important thing I want to talk about that I talk about all the time is food. It may sound really biased, but I think Penang food is probably one of the finest foods in the world, and it has been verified by both CNN and BBC. The reason why it is so unique is because all these Chinese foods cannot be found in China. Was actually created here in Penang. And over here we have the famous chendol. It looks like little green worms in milky coconut milk. And we have the famous char kway teow. Yeah, very famous. Yeah. And this is some Indian food, which you can find all over the world. And this is some food the street food that we call lok lok, which you can find, you actually dip it in a soup and it's really delicious. So I think you should probably gain about 5 kilograms, when you stay in Penang for at least a week, because there's so much food to try. Right. Next slide, please, Daniel. Thank you.
This is the last one.
Oops. Yeah. Is it the last one? Okay. All right. There's the slide. Okay. Where's the slide? Oops. Okay. Okay. Oops. Daniel?
So it's quite similar to the history of Singapore, yes, which was also colonized by
Yes, it is very similar.
East Indian Company, and it also, there were lots of Chinese and Indians brought to this place, and they use it as a port, as a seaport.
Wow. Yes, exactly. Yes. So, I was talking to Micah this morning, and there was a lot of piracy going on at that place, so it's a very difficult time, for the British at that time to control piracy in the 1820s. So because, there were many famous pirates at large, it's just like Pirates of the Caribbean. So these people would actually take over, second the ship just for its precious cargo. So, so you can imagine all these people were actually battling pirates, just like in Pirates of the Caribbean. So it's very interesting, and this culture was brought to you by, ships. So it's a maritime culture back in those days. People had to travel days and months just to get to a place. It's not like you hop onto a plane, or I'm talking to you right now, It's different back then. So we have a lot of history and a lot of culture. And the interesting part was Captain Francis Light's son was actually his son. Actually, the statue of Captain Francis Light, the founder, is actually a statue of his son, because they had to use the son as a model, and the son was actually half Siamese, which means he's half local, but he looked exactly like his father. So they used him as a model for the official statue of Captain Francis Light. Yeah. Interesting.
Stephanie, as in Singapore, people have quite a unique attitude to the colonizers. So they do not really have negative attitudes. For example, they have a statue of Ralph, who was a colonizer. And what is the attitude of local Malaysian population towards the colonial period in their history?
Okay. Well, I can't speak for the rest of them, but my grandfather used to think that anything made in England was going to last a lifetime, and it actually did. And anything made in, sorry to say this, Japan back in those days was going to fall apart in the next 5 seconds. But that was their thinking those days. And people still have a lot of replicas of things that are made in England, and it will last for a lifetime, and even like various lifetimes. So the quality was unmatched and undisputed. It was really good quality, top notch. So for the British, I think a lot of people still thank the British because they brought in a lot of good structure and good government structures over here. And our parliament is actually fashioned after the British Parliament. And, you know, we have titles that are fashioned after the British titles. And a lot of our laws are fashioned after the British laws. So in 1957, they decided to give us and also Ghana our independence. That was the same year. Ghana had the same year of independence as us. And we celebrate our independence on the 31st of August, 1957. And a very interesting fact, I used to work for the son of the first Prime Minister of Malaysia. It was Tunku Abdul Rahman. And he was a prince. And they set him up as a prime minister because they had already trained him, and he knew exactly what they wanted. The British wanted. They wanted continuation. They wanted it to continue. They wanted the good things to continue in Malaysia after they had left. And some of the British, they never left. I mean, they stayed on, and they were planters, and they were administrators. And my father's first boss was actually British. I mean, he was working for some British people as well. And my grandfather was taught by some English schoolmasters. So it's very English. So as you can tell, my accent is slightly British as well, yeah. So it's from that era.
Yes, you sound very British. So I would like, I do not like to exaggerate and ask you all the questions, but I would like, yes, so let's first introduce my dean, Alberto Frigerio. Alberto, I hope you hear us.
Yes, unfortunately, again, today my internet is very weak. Hello, Stephanie. Thank you for your presentation, and it was amazing.
Most welcome.
And I actually have a question as well, related to the slide that we still see here, and the importance of food, actually. So you revealed actually something very interesting about the food peculiarity of the area you were talking about, and how much, my question is how much food can be a kind of concept or a useful resource for branding the country and branding the area. I mean, in which terms actually it might be a driver for attracting foreigners to visit or even to get them moved to live there?
Okay. I think that would be a very easy question to answer, Professor Alberto, because I think most of the time we brand ourselves as the food capital of the world, I mean of Asia. It's like because of the diverse migrants that came over here, and the migrants had to have like very inexpensive street food. And from there, you know, we have actually developed a culture, and people actually come over here to try our food, which is quite unique actually, you know, because a lot of people have very negative, like, you know, memories of Malaysian food. But I would like to just reiterate that, you know, I think they need to try the food once again because it's really good. And this is how we market ourselves. We also market ourselves as a medical tourism center, which means that we get a lot of people coming over here to get treated. You know, it can be something for the teeth. You know, you can get braces here, and you can also get treatment for various diseases, including cancer, etc. You know, at a very inexpensive price. Yeah, over here in Malaysia. So we market ourselves as a medical tourism center as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your point. From the Italian perspective, the food issue is always very important.
They are. Students, I would like also you would ask questions, please. Don't be shy.
Okay. Okay. Questions, anyone?
maybe Ayana.
Okay,
Yeah.
Ayana. All right.
Good afternoon, Miss Stephanie. Firstly, I want to thank you to this presentation and explaining about the Malaysia. Also, I have a question about the culture because Malaysia have a lot of nationalities, Chinese, Armenian, British people, and how they interact with each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, we get along very well. In fact, we intermarry each other. I am actually a mixture of I'm a mixture of Chinese, probably some Indonesian, Malay, and Burmese. So there's a lot of intermarrying, and everybody here is a little mixed. It's a Creole culture, and we get along very well, and we speak to each other in English, Hokkien, and Malay. And some of my Malay colleagues over here, they can speak Hokkien very well. And they speak it with the perfect accent and everything. That Hokkien is actually our local Chinese dialect. And most people also of different races can also speak Mandarin, which means that an Indian person can speak Mandarin. A Chinese person may learn, Tamil or Malay from their friends, and Malay people can speak Mandarin to us. So that's how mixed the culture is. Yeah.
Great.
Yes, thank you. Also, can I ask again question?
Yes, please.
What about the international relations with the Muslim countries?
Oh, okay. International relations with the Muslim countries are perfect. Basically, we get a lot of tourists during Arab season. Arab season used to be during the summer months when it was very hot in the Middle East and the Gulf countries. But I think now with COVID, obviously there's no one coming. But before that, you would see like Arabs, all over the street and all that. And we are a Muslim country. We are actually Sunni, so it's a very safe country to visit, and it is not difficult to get halal food over here because we have a lot of good restaurants, including Lebanese restaurants, and it's just fantastic. I mean, it's like it's very Muslim friendly. Yeah.
I know that Lebanese is the best among all Arabian foods. Yes.
I think so too. Yeah, it's really good. So I have a Lebanese restaurant near my house. I can just walk down there. So yeah, it's a beautiful country, and if you get a chance to, I mean, you should come up. And Daniel has my number, so you can have my number, and you can WhatsApp me anytime. Yeah. So yeah. Any other questions?
Maybe Zarina,
Aziza,
Ayana.
Can I?
Yes.
I'm Aziza. Okay. Hi, thank you for your presentation. I really like it. So my question is, I have heard that some buildings in Malaysia don't have the fourth floor. Like they have third and then 3A, then fifth floor. Like they don't have fourth.
Oh.
Why?
4 floors. Yeah. I don't think there are many, I think maybe it has something to do with the number 4 in Chinese, because most of those here are, most of the traders here are Chinese, and 4 actually means death or, something bad. Like, 4 is like, it sounds like death, in whatever languages, dialects that they speak. So usually we would have like 3 floors, but 4 floors is really unusual. I mean, I would look again 2 times probably at a building with 4 floors. Usually most of the time it's like we have buildings with 3 floors or multiple floors, but never 4. And over here, we also, just like the British, we don't have the 13th floor sometimes because that's very unlucky. 1-3 is very unlucky. So we have that. And we are also like the British. If a black cat walks past, our path, then I'm going to try to avoid the black cat. or something, or so we don't have that. 13 is an unlucky number over here in Malaysia from the British. Yeah, Aziza, I hope that answers your question. Do you have any other questions?
Thank you. And another question is, I know about the largest cave chamber in Malaysia, and have you been there? If yes, how it was?
Oh, the largest what? I'm sorry, again?
The largest cave chamber.
Very friendly people over here. Sorry?
The largest cave chamber. Cave chamber.
Huh?
Cave chamber.
The largest. Again, sorry?
The largest cave. Grotto.
Oh, the largest cave, Mulu Cave in Sarawak. Actually, I've never been there. Sorry. I did hear that there's a lot of human civilization there during the prehistoric times and all that. But it is the largest cave, and I've never been to Sarawak. I'm so embarrassed to say that. And I hope to go there one day. But should you want to go to East Malaysia, please understand it is a different world out there. And even we find the East Malaysians quite different because they are actually tribal people. So over there, the biggest tribe in Sarawak would be Iban. So what you're talking about, the largest cave is actually the Mulu Caves in Sarawak. And I would encourage you to visit that because it should be really interesting. I've never been in a cave. I think I would probably get lost in there. Yeah. Yeah, Aziza, does that help?
Okay, thank you for your answers.
You're most welcome.
Aziza is very knowledgeable.
Oh, she is. Very. I'm so impressed. I'm
Yes.
so glad that you're all prepared and you're asking questions. Here in Malaysia, it's like most of the students just keep quiet and they hope that the teacher doesn't call them. They hope and pray. And when they call, they panic. There's a look of panic on their faces. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yes. Any other questions, students?
Hello, can I ask?
Hi, who's this?
My name is Azadam, and I want to ask you, how can you describe the? How can you again? How can you describe the relationship between Kazakhstan and Malaysia, or do they have any relationship close? Maybe.
Yeah, we have a lot of people from Kazakhstan over here. In fact, our former Prime Minister of Malaysia, Najib Razak, his son-in-law is from Kazakhstan. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how they met, maybe through the internet or whatever. But yeah, it's from Kazakhstan. So we are quite familiar with people from Kazakhstan, actually. Not just because of that, but also a lot of them live in Kuala Lumpur. So it's a very good relationship, I think, because it's a Muslim to Muslim country, and not only that, you're only like 2 hours behind us. So yeah, I could just hop on a plane and visit you as well, right? Yeah. I hope that answers your question. And we also have the embassy over here, obviously. Yeah. Okay.
I know that Malaysia is quite popular for our students. Some of them get either bachelor degrees there or master degrees in Malaysia because it's still in English and it's cheaper than in Europe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is. I think we have a lot of, I can't speak for Kuala Lumpur, but we have a lot of students, from around the world in University Science Malaysia. And that is on my island, University Science Malaysia. And it is much cheaper to live here on the island than in Kuala Lumpur. Yeah.
Also,
any other questions?
Yes.
Hi, Zarina.
Well, I'm really interested in about how is the workload in Malaysia. As you mentioned, there is a lot of students from Kazakhstan who studies there, and is it easy to get a workspace here in Malaysia, or how is the situation with the
to get
workload?
a degree over here in Malaysia? I think it should be, but the thing is that most of the most of the lectures are taught in English as well as Malay, some Malay. So if And most of I used to teach students, English, at a language center, and they were actually based at the University of Science Malaysia. So in order to get a thesis, it's quite easy and it's very popular to get a degree from University of Science Malaysia. So if you're interested, I would Google University Science, SCIENCE, Malaysia, and it's the campus. It should be easy to get in because it's very popular. Yeah.
Is it easy to get employed after getting a degree from Malaysian university?
Is it easy to get employed with a degree from Malaysia? Good question. Well, it depends actually on I used to work at Motorola, and some of the people that we worked with were from University Malaysia, or but to get employed around the world on a Malaysian degree, I have to ask them, because it depends really on their discipline you're coming from as well. Because I think in certain countries, degree may not be recognized, but I think the most important thing is it's whether it is recognized in your country. If you have a degree from Malaysia, you need to speak to your local government to see if it is recognized in your own country. But I know that most of the students, some of them are American, so I don't think it's really a problem. But what you could do probably, if you're interested, is to try a semester abroad. Should you have a mutual understanding, or mutual agreement, signed between two universities, you can actually have a semester abroad. So that would be a great idea. Yeah. And Daniel, if you're interested, I can link you up with somebody who is in the Center of Islamic Studies at University of Science Malaysia. So you could probably think about a semester abroad.
Yes, that would be interesting. I will share with my students.
Yeah, sure. Okay, she's actually a friend and also a blogger, and she's actually working in admin support. Yeah. So,
Mr. Tan, may I ask one more question?
Yes,
sure.
You may ask.
Thank you. Also, I want to ask about agriculture sector, how these global warming processes influence on this process in the in agriculture.
Okay, well, I think global warming tends to be a global issue. So I'm sad to say that Malaysia started off not just as a seaport, but in certain places, but also we started off with agriculture. In fact, my ancestors were involved in agriculture. What did we plant? We planted like sugarcane, we planted rubber trees, and I think the ecological impact was actually created back maybe 200 years ago. And what we try to do is and we also have palm oil. And what we try to do is we try to repurpose the land, which is no longer, fertile, into housing and development, and maybe like factories, etc. This is what we do. But yeah, you are right. I mean, we have contributed greatly to the, increase of the temperature around the world. So Malaysia is guilty of that, but we are trying to move away from agriculture because it is not so sustainable into knowledge-based technology. So basically, we have a lot of factories here, mostly from UK and also United States, and they're all based on knowledge-based technology. That means we do surveillance, we do research and development, and this is what we're looking at now. Okay, I hope that helps. Great. Okay.
Thank you.
I also have one more question, if it's okay to ask.
Yes, okay.
It's adding question like, oh, sorry, one second.
Yeah, Zarina. Yeah. Zarina, are you there?
Sorry, I am back. Well, my question was about the climate in Malaysia. Actually, I know that it majority of time it's very hot, and the air is very humid. So, isn't it too hard to breathe in the summer? And also, dust in
Very.
Malaysia
Yeah, I've
quite
been complaining about the weather. It's very hot.
smokes a lot. Oh,
Okay. Most of the weather, we're actually having a heat wave now in Penang, but most of the weather in the so-called temporal climates or up on the hills is still a little bit cooler. I cannot speak for Penang Hill because I think the overall global warming has actually affected the temperatures around the world. But it tends to be very, very warm and uncomfortable in Russia, and in Malaysia, sorry. And I think probably if you're coming from Kazakhstan, you probably feel very uncomfortable, and you wish you could peel off your skin. Besides just wearing thinner clothing or whatever. But basically, this is how we feel around. And right now, I'm inside an air-conditioned room, and I'm feeling very comfortable. But as soon as I step out, it feels very warm. And I can just share with you that we don't need to switch on the heat for hot water. It's actually very warm, and the water from the tap actually comes up really warm. Yeah, so that's how warm it is. So the only way is to drink a lot of coconut water and just drink lots of water and ice. So yeah.
I think it's pretty similar to Singapore,
Yes.
this humidity, because the first impression I felt it was like I was in sauna, and and you have to take, I think it takes 2 weeks to adapt.
Yeah, exactly. But you'll be surprised. Actually, people come from Saudi Arabia and they told us that it's cool over here in Malaysia. Can you beat that?
I cannot.
They actually told us that it is much cooler here and they love it here. And it's so cool. I was thinking it must be feeling like an oven. Because, yeah, maybe it's an oven in the Middle East. I don't know.
Yes, yes, of course, if you compare with an oven, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay.
Yes,
boys and girls, do you have any other questions you want to ask me?
actually, I have one more last question.
I think Zarina, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, last question is about, I'm interested about healthcare in Malaysia. Does government provide insurance for their citizens, and is there a good quality of healthcare?
Oh, okay. Very good question, Zarina. Okay, over here, it is not like the US where you have to buy insurance in order to get to a hospital, because the healthcare over here is free of charge. And even if you are probably a private citizen, you just pay a few dollars to get the healthcare. For example, right now we're having the COVID, pandemic. So we are going to get the vaccines, and all the vaccines are actually free of charge, which means that the government actually subsidizes 100% all the healthcare for the vaccines. And we do have private hospitals in Malaysia, but they are actually the patients are actually from overseas. They're not Malaysians, because most Malaysians may have some healthcare, but why do you need to? A lot of people may or may not have health insurance, but I think the Malaysian government has done a really good job in taking care of the healthcare aspect by subsidizing it heavily, so that people, either rich or poor, can afford the same level of good healthcare, free of charge. I hope that helps.
Yes.
May I ask a question?
Yes, Ayana.
Yes, Arena.
Hello.
Ayana.
My name is Ayana. Thank
Ayana.
you for
Sorry,
such
Ayana. Okay. Hi,
It's
Ayana.
okay. Thank you for such an informative presentation. It was interesting. And I have a relevant question: how the coronavirus affected the situation in the country? Maybe you will share your memories, how you survived the quarantine and how your life has changed.
Oh, okay. Very good question, Ayana. I think it's a very sad situation that we're in, but it's also optimistic because there's always, like the Chinese say, there is opportunity in danger. So basically, I think the COVID has actually caught us off guard, and it has basically brought the country down to its knees. That's the truth. There are many small businesses that are closed, and but we saw a search and research of the COVID. So what happened was we actually, put up the My Suggestra, which is actually an app to monitor the situation. And, the Prime Minister goes online very often to announce, how we're going, whether we're going on lockdown, we are going on conditional recovery, etc. So I'm actually based in the hotel, which means that our hotels are closed. But good news is we are open tomorrow. So we will be opening our country again, hopefully. And with the COVID and all that, I think it will be a distant memory in future. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your answer. I agree with you. The pandemic has divided our lives into before and after, so it's our reality.
Yes, it is international and a global pandemic, so it affects every country, and I think the world has been brought down to its knees. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we are, unfortunately, we are a bit restricted by time. And Stephanie, again, well, thank you so much for such a, marvelous presentation of your country. And I see that you are the best market, you're the best marketer. So yes, from your presentation, I think we love Malaysia and we want to travel and to see Malaysia and to try your food. Well, so
you're most welcome, and you have my number, so you're very welcome, and I will be your personal guide when you're here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
so
you,
we'll
everyone.
hope that
you,
we'll still continue cooperation. Maybe we'll invite you one more again. We'll to some events, maybe also related to hospitality, because we have here at our university also a hospitality management school. So thank you so much. Wish you
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Students, thank you so much for your participation. Mike, Alberta, Katya, thank you also for visiting and attending this class.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you, Alberto. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day.
You too. Have a nice day over there.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you for your presentation.
Goodbye. Also, I want to congratulate with it.
Bye-bye, everybody. Okay. Bye.
Bye.